Leading cardiologist and weight loss expert Dr. Pradeep Jamnadas has revealed that fat stored in the body, especially around internal organs, is one of the biggest threats to a long and healthy life. But according to Dr. Jamnadas, there's one simple trick that can help eliminate this dangerous fat faster and more easily than most people think. And surprisingly, it has nothing to do with medication or long, complicated treatments. It's fasting. Not only is it simple, it's also the only truly effective method for burning internal fat. This kind of fat, called visceral or ectopic fat, isn't just what causes a stubborn belly. It's a silent threat interfering with your organs and slowly draining your body's ability to stay healthy and strong. Getting rid of it isn't just about improving how you look, it's about protecting your life.
Worst fat, the fat that is very inflammatory. You see, if I did a biopsy of your visceral fat versus a biopsy of, let's say, a fat formed on your buttock, two different types of fat. One is full of inflammatory molecules. The other one is not full of inflammatory molecules. One is producing interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor, and this other fat is not. These are two different fat storages. Visceral fat is very toxic. It's very inflammatory. And that is why patients who have visceral fat make all these molecules. So when I do the blood test, I see that, oh, you've got so much inflammation. You've got interleukin-6 is high, tumor necrosis factor is high, your CRP is running high. And one of the reasons for this is not just leaky gut and other things that I look at, but in your case, it is also because you have a lot of ectopic fat. Ectopic fat. Ectopic fat is now we're realizing is not just only around the liver and around your pancreas, it's also around your heart.
That's why, according to Dr. Pradeep Jamnadas, the most effective and surprisingly easiest way to get rid of both excess weight and dangerous visceral fat is fasting. When done properly, fasting pushes the body to tap into its deepest energy reserves, including the stubborn fat around your internal organs. This is fat that often doesn't budge, even with strict diets or calorie deficits. But during fasting, your body has no choice but to use it.
The only thing that will make you lose that fat very quickly is to change your diet, of course, but you have to do fasting. Because fasting brings your insulin level. See, this is where fasting comes in. You see, when you don't eat, your insulin levels come down because you're not stimulating your pancreas anymore. So you want to bring your insulin levels down. The best thing you can do in the world is to do fasting. Because look, if I just simply cut down on my calories, then there's a different physiology that's going to take place in the body. And when you fast, there's a totally different physiology. When you cut down on calories, the body senses that this caloric deficit, your metabolic rate changes, actually slows down. And the body will start breaking down everything, muscles included. So you lose fat and you also lose muscles. On the other hand, when you're fasting, it's a different physiology. Fasting is, I've put on fat, now I'm going to take it out of the bank. Now the bank is going to be available for me to pull out my calories and use it now. And you start burning the fat. So in the first 12 hours of a fast, you take out all the glucose in the form of glycogen from your muscles and your liver. After 12 hours, you start pulling the fat out. And the first place the fat comes out of is going to be visceral fat.
Even though fasting may sound simple, it's not magic. It's a powerful, biologically driven process that activates deep cleansing and metabolic reset in the body. Fasting triggers a unique metabolic state that's nearly impossible to reach with regular diets. After just a few hours without food, insulin levels drop sharply. And that's important because insulin is the hormone that blocks access to stored fat. When insulin drops, the body can finally tap into visceral fat, the deep, dangerous fat that's usually locked away and rarely used for energy. At that point, your cells switch into lipolysis, breaking down fat into fatty acids for fuel. And here's the kicker. Visceral fat is the first to respond. That's because it has more receptors for glucagon and adrenaline, two hormones that spike during fasting. So fasting isn't some trendy hack. It's a natural, evolution-built mechanism designed to target and burn the most harmful fat in the body. But to truly see results, reduce toxic fat, and move closer to long-term health and longevity, you have to fast the right way. There are several types of fasting to choose from.
Depending on your goal on what do you want for that particular patient? So if a patient is just simply looking to reduce his visceral fat, then I start with 12-12, which means 12 hours, you don't eat anything, you just drink liquids with no calories in it, and then 12 hours is your feeding period. We start with that, and we do that for about 2 to 3 weeks. Then we quickly move to 18-6. 18-6 means 6 hours you get to eat. 18 hours, it's only water, black tea, black coffee, green tea, no calories. 18-6. 18-6.
Dr. Pradeep Jamnadas recommends the 12-12 fasting plan as one of the best starting points for beginners. It's the simplest form of intermittent fasting. You fast for 12 hours and eat during a 12-hour window. This routine still triggers powerful metabolic changes. After about 8 to 10 hours without food, insulin levels start to drop. And once that happens, your body shifts from storage mode to burning its own energy reserves. That means it stops actively storing fat and begins to slowly, but steadily, burn it. By the 12th hour of fasting, mild lipolysis kicks in, the process where fat is broken down into fatty acids for energy. While this approach is gentler than more advanced fasting methods like 16-8 or 18-6, it still brings real benefits. It improves insulin sensitivity, helps stabilize blood sugar, and even reduces evening cravings as your body starts to align with its natural circadian rhythm. Over time, regular 12-12 fasting becomes a powerful entry point into metabolic flexibility. Your body learns to shift smoothly between burning glucose and fat, leading to more stable energy and a steady reduction in fat stores. To make 12-hour fasting more effective, it's important to pay attention to what happens during your eating window. Filling your meals with plenty of vegetables, lean protein, healthy fats, and keeping sugar to a minimum helps prevent sharp spikes in blood sugar. That means fewer cravings and less chance of getting hit with intense hunger later in the evening or at night. It can also help to create a simple ritual to signal the end of your eating window, like finishing with a small, familiar dish or a warm drink, such as herbal tea or hot water. This gently tells your brain, mealtime's over. And most importantly, be consistent. The 12-12 method works best when you follow it daily. So, just by cutting out late-night meals, we can help our bodies shed toxic visceral fat, improve our overall health, and even extend our lifespan. Dr. Pradeep Jamnadas believes that fasting, done the right way, can be a powerful tool for solving many health issues. But of course, everyone's body is different. Before moving on to more intensive fasting routines, it's always a good idea to check in with your doctor.